Have you ever noticed that some people only show up when they need a favor? Have you ever sacrificed your own plans, your rest, even your peace of mind, just to help someone who forgets you as soon as their problem is solved? If that feeling sounds familiar, this story is meant for you. Because sometimes the most difficult lessons in life arrive through the very people we care about. In a quiet town surrounded by wide green fields and old peaceful houses lived a man named Daniel. He was well known throughout the neighborhood. Whenever someone's bicycle chain slipped, they called Daniel. If someone needed help lifting heavy boxes, they knocked on Daniel's door. If anyone felt lonely and wanted company, they went straight to him. Daniel never refused. With a friendly smile, he always replied, "Sure, I'll help." He truly believed that helping others made him a better human being. People admired him and often praised his kindness. But slowly, without realizing it, Daniel's life stopped belonging to him. His own garden was messy and half-maintained. His windows were cracked. His roof needed fixing. Problems inside his home kept increasing, but instead of addressing them, Daniel was always outside solving problems for others. Every night, he returned home tired, covered in dust and sweat. His mother would look at him with concern and say, "Daniel, you do so much for everyone, but why does no one ever do anything for you?" Daniel would simply smile and say, "It's okay, Mom. One day, people will remember how kind I've been." But that day never came. One evening, dark clouds gathered, and strong winds began to sweep through the town. Everyone rushed to protect their belongings before the storm arrived. Daniel ran outside too, but not to secure his own things. He went straight to help his friend Oliver, whose tools and equipment were left in the open. They worked quickly, covering everything and moving items into safety. Meanwhile, Daniel's own garden furniture remained outside. His plants were still exposed. His wooden boxes were left open. Then the storm struck. Heavy rain poured down, and the wind tore through the town. By the time Daniel returned home, most of his garden was destroyed. He sat on the steps of his house, rain dripping from his hair, staring at the muddy wreckage that had once been his peaceful garden. His mother gently placed a towel on his shoulders and said softly, "Daniel, today you protected everyone's belongings except your own." Daniel didn't respond, but something inside him finally cracked. The next morning, confused and emotionally drained, he walked to the edge of town to visit Mr. Harris, an elderly retired teacher known for his wisdom. Sitting beside the river, Daniel confessed, "Sir, I don't understand. I help everyone, yet I feel empty. I feel exhausted not from work, but from people. Why does kindness feel like it's hurting me?" Mr. Harris looked at the flowing river and said, "Daniel, see this river? It gives water to trees, birds, animals, and farms. But what happens when it rains too much and the river forgets its boundaries?" Daniel thought and answered, "It floods. It destroys things." "Exactly," Mr. Harris replied. "Kindness without limits turns into self-damage. You are kind, Daniel, but you have no boundaries. You rush everywhere for everyone, but nowhere for yourself. You think saying no is wrong, but sometimes saying no is the healthiest thing you can do." He then gave Daniel a simple challenge. For the next 7 days, don't say yes immediately. When someone asks for help, pause and ask yourself, will this cost me my peace, time, or energy? If the answer is yes, then say Not today. The following day, Oliver came rushing to Daniel and asked for help moving a heavy box. Daniel glanced at the broken fence in his yard that had been neglected for months. His instinct was to agree, but he remembered the advice. Taking a deep breath, he said, "I'm sorry, Oliver. Today I need to fix my fence. I can help later, but not now." Oliver looked surprised and slightly disappointed, but Daniel remained firm. A few hours later, his fence stood strong for the first time in months. Daniel felt an unfamiliar sense of pride. Over the next few days, when neighbors came asking for small favors, he politely declined. For the first time in a long while, he went to bed feeling calm rather than drained. On the fourth day, another heavy rain began, and Daniel's roof started leaking. He looked outside, half expecting someone to knock on his door, like he had done for others countless times. No one came. Instead of feeling angry, Daniel felt something new. He grabbed his tools and repaired the roof himself. When he finished, he sat quietly and whispered, "So this is what it feels like to rely on myself." Weeks passed, and Daniel slowly transformed. He stopped rushing at every call of his name. He woke up early to tend to his garden. He cleaned his home. He invested time in himself. Something unexpected happened. People began respecting him more. Oliver started solving his own problems. Neighbors stopped depending on Daniel for every small issue. The town remained friendly, but Daniel was no longer treated like a tool that was always available. His home looked beautiful. His garden flourished. His face looked relaxed. For the first time in years, he laughed without exhaustion. One afternoon, Mr. Harris visited Daniel. Looking at the neat yard and peaceful smile, he asked, "So, Daniel, did the world fall apart when you stopped saying yes to everyone?" Daniel smiled and replied, "No, sir. In fact, my world finally came together." Mr. Harris nodded gently. "When you stopped saying yes to everyone, you finally said yes to yourself. And that is when life begins to change. So ask yourself, are you like Daniel? Do you give too much? Do you say yes even when it hurts you? Remember this, saying no does not make you selfish. It makes you strong. It means you are choosing peace. Your time, your energy, and your heart are precious. Protect them, because the world will only respect you when you start respecting yourself.